people with no disabilities, simple tasks like opening a door,
Picking up a telephone, dialing the number, switching on a tap, or pouring a cup of tea are so easy as to be virtually automatic. But for someone who's disabled, either through illness or accident, or even from birth, such basic daily actions assume enormous difficulty. They become frustrating obstacles to what would otherwise be the normal flow of their lives. But now there is MANUS. It's an extraordinary robot arm developed in Holland with the simple aim of making formerly difficult functions much easier for disabled people. Peter Brugger is in his mid-20s. He suffers from muscular dystrophy and is one of 3 people in Holland chosen to have full-time use of the MANUS arm as part of an assessment program for the device. Turning the television on or off is just one function Peter can now do without having to ask someone else. Developed jointly by the Dutch Institute for Rehabilitation Research, the Netherlands organization in Delft, and a company called Exact Dynamics, it was designed from the very beginning for people with severe disabilities in all 4 limbs, and is readily mounted on different types of wheelchairs. The arm can be operated, as it is now, by a small keyboard, but it can just as readily be connected to a joystick, a blowpipe, or perhaps a head movement control mechanism. Small light displays indicate what mode the device is in, what sort of motion will come next, and whether it will be fast or slow. What makes the MANUS particularly interesting and effective, and is also quite a significant achievement, is the fact that it has what they call 8 degrees of freedom. That's the same thing as saying you can move it in 8 different ways. And just to run through them, the shaft can rotate like this, can also go up and down. Then the upper and lower arm, which correspond to these sections here of my arm, can pitch up and down together or independently. So that's 4 movements. Then you have 4 more movements on the hand itself. You have pitch, up and down, yaw, sideways like that, and roll, which is the rotational movement. And finally, you've got the grabbing action. The complexity of the machine is really apparent when you look inside the main shaft. It's upside down at the moment, but it would normally fit inside these 2 telescoping carbon fiber sheaths. And what they've done is to put all of the motors that drive the mechanism, and there are 8 of them, you can see them here, inside the main shaft, mainly to keep the weight low so that the movable arms of the device are kept as light as possible. To keep costs down in the early models, much of the gearing mechanisms and electronics have been off-the-shelf items. But even then, the arms have cost in excess of $30,000. The Exact Dynamics company, which sees a potential demand of several thousand MANUS arms, is working on ways of streamlining the production and manufacturing process, with the hope of substantially reducing the cost in future. The arm itself has a maximum reach of about 80 centimeters and can lift objects of up to 1.5 kilos. But those 2 simple statistics include an incredible range of capabilities. Putting a stack of compact discs in a player is a complex task which takes a bit of time, but at least Peter can do it without help. The advanced computer control techniques used in the MANUS, incorporating so-called fuzzy logic techniques, have resulted in a range of movements in the arm that are far more natural and well coordinated than anything produced so far. Just a simple scratch when he had an itch was impossible for Peter until now. Initially, the MANUS manipulator has been produced in a limited series of 15 arms like this. So Peter is the only one amongst the group of disabled people he lives with who has the use of the MANUS. He was selected from a national competition in Holland to be one of the trialists who would evaluate it. Well, if they all work as well as this one has and bring the same degree of independence and pleasure as this one obviously does to Peter Drucker, then there's little doubt that the MANUS will find widespread acceptance and popularity in the world of the disabled.